What is going on, everybody? And in this video, we're providing you a state of the market and stock picks for September 27th, 2022. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, consider subscribing, as I do provide daily and weekly updates to get you prepared for the day and the week ahead in this glorious market. Now, as you can see, we have been in a very tight bind. And one of the things that is quite interesting, actually, is the fact that we are currently trying to break this 50-month or 50 EMA on the monthly is currently where we're at. That's the only reason we've been holding. The market has absolutely no momentum to the upside, which we have to really watch this level tomorrow. If we break this 36.45, potentially gap down to the 36.15 underneath that, this thing is going to start flushing really badly. Now, again, we are starting to see a lot of panic in the market. There's a lot of different things going on right now. The bond yields are continuing to rise. More economic growth. Index fell to 0 in August 22 from a 5-month high of 0.29 in July, pointing to a moderation. What is going on, everybody? And in this video, we're providing a state of the market and stock picks for September 27th, 2022. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, consider subscribing, as I do provide daily and weekly updates to get you prepared for the day and the week ahead in this glorious market. Now, we had a very interesting day. The market did not want to bounce. It bounced somewhat. As you can see, it stayed in a very tight range today. But we're starting to sell off. Looks like we potentially retested the 200 weekly today, and now we are back revisiting the 50 EMA monthly. If we do open up below essentially this 36.18, we are going to flush and flush heavy. There was a lot of concern. The world economy set to slow more than anticipated. We are getting more and more really bad negative news when it comes to the markets. And we are hearing that even the credit card debt is up to 900, I believe it said 930 billion as of right now. Hits all-time high. So there is a lot going on. Just in general, things are not getting better. Again, they actually, I think it was Bostic today. I don't know if it was Bostic or some other Fed member today, was also talking about how essentially because of rents, because of housing, that we are going to see a high inflation for a very long time, and rightfully so, right? The way things are working out, the demand for rentals, the demand for housing is extremely high. Again, everything shifted from, again, used cars to food and energy, now back to housing. And now it is all about what is going to happen in the next earnings. People are losing their jobs, and not so much so because of what is currently going on in the environment, but understanding that the rate increases at this dramatic pace is causing these companies to cut back a lot. Whole sectors, whole divisions are being laid off at a time to try to compensate, to allow businesses to still remain profitable, the best that they can. So they're trimming any excess fat, which in turn is causing people to liquidate essentially everything they have. And coming into this last couple of quarters, people were already at a lower frame than what they were just 6 months ago when it came to savings rates. People came out of the pandemic and started spending again. They thought the pandemic was over. Then the whole Russia-Ukraine incident, and then realizing that the inflation started to kick off and the demand shifted quickly because people had to return to work. So they needed to buy a car, and people weren't going to buy new cars. So they bought used cars and then also used services, right, to maintain those used cars. And then that shifted into food and energy because you have to understand when the world is changing and there is sort of a depression going on, people will buy. Uh, the easiest fix to fix your mental state is to buy food, alcohol, whatever the case is. And so that's why there was a shift there. And then understand that people start getting laid off. So people are starting to liquidate. And then not only are people liquidating, and trying to move into rentals. That's why you're seeing the demand there. But now, again, you're not going to see a slowdown anytime soon in that department. People need housing. So at this point, again, I don't want to keep reiterating what I've been saying, but technical wise, we are at a do or die point. This was the week that I believe we were going to do or die. And we do at the end of the month. You have some sell off as too. You're getting end of a cycle, end of the earnings cycle. So you're getting ready to start a new earnings cycle. And we have a window between next monetary policy and a little bit of a window between next core CPI. So are we going to run? Or are we going to break? I think panic is already setting in, and at this point, because we are hardly even bouncing at this point. You can't find buyers in this market, and that's what the problem is. So with all that being said, where are we going to go from this point? Tomorrow will tell. Each day will tell. If we open up tomorrow below that 50 EMA monthly, again, that's 30, roughly around that 36.15 mark. If we open below that, this thing is going to flush heavy, and I'm talking a couple hundred points potentially at that point. Maybe even hit. I don't want to say a flash crash, but there will definitely be panic in the market. We have to see what the volume, what the momentum is coming into that day, especially with what's going on. How much does panic actually push the market and see where the fuel is? And again, like I said, once we break that level, I'm all about DCAing, but with the intention that I have to see what kind of volatility, see what kind of gas we get to the downside. If there's a lot of panic, I'm going to wait. If there's a little bit of panic and it's getting caught up, you have to understand once you break this major support, yes, you're going to come back and retest it. After you get a break, you'll come back, retest it, and then there'll be an even bigger dump from that point. And that potential point could be the bottom. I'm not saying it's the bottom, but you're getting, I think at that point, you're getting pretty close. Again, being said, everything has to play out. All the stuff is kind of, if you want to call it priced in, you can't really price some of this stuff is not, you can't price in panic. Panic is just panic, and it's going to sell until it finds that the panic is gone, at least for whatever window that is, 6 months. Normally it's roughly around 6 months, but at this point, you can't get longer than a couple of weeks of runway before more bad news hits. So being said, with all that stuff, we are watching levels at this point until the next core, until earnings, and then monetary policy. So that is currently where we're sitting at. We really have to see what is next. You keep throwing out all the bad news. All the bad news has already been there. It's just being amplified more and more and more. Now we watch levels. Now we watch and see if we wake up when we get a break. And that's the next step in this process. So Bitcoin, again, still holding 19, still holding that level. But again, I think it's the same with the market. The market is holding a major support. The market breaks that, you will guarantee Bitcoin will break this as well and start selling off heavily. So just be mindful of that. And considering that we're grinding against it, it's only a matter of time. Tesla, again, big support here. I was trying to grab it here, but at this point, I don't like the way the general market sentiment is, so I am waiting. I do believe if the market breaks, again, it's at a support. Again, everything will look the same. This is going to snap, and we'll see how far down we will go. Again, this all depends on panic, especially this is being the number one safe haven, along with Apple. If there really starts inducing some panic, we have to see where it drops to. So watching Tesla from there. Apple is another one today. Try to have some strength, but again, died. Break retest. Try to retest that 200. And then now, do we see the sell tomorrow and into Wednesday? Is the question. Or do we hover here till Wednesday and then get the bigger move? Obviously, there's some consolidation going on here, trying to determine which way this market is going. BA actually dumped really heavy today. Continuing to dump. We're still, I think you could see the lows of the 113. Again, depending on how bad the panic is, I think in either way we're going to see 113. But can we break 113? That's again really going to depend on what kind of panic comes into the market. The banks are not looking good. We are flirting again with a major support. This is why I say everything looks the same. Again, another major support breaks that. It could potentially see 92 here. So watching JPM, Goldman Sachs, everything looks the same. I could potentially see this drop down to 280. Again, this had more meat on the bone, so it's got further ways to drop, but same thing. Bank of America at support again. A break could get a big drop. Oh, we'll see. And then earnings, again, earnings is just so close. It's on the 17th. I really don't expect Q3 to be good. A lot of people have been very quiet, which is kind of unusual about things. They know it's bad, and they thought there was a glimmer of hope. And the Fed is kind of trying to throw out a little bit of glimmer of hope, but truth is things are still really bad. So again, we're going to have to see what happens there. But so far, not liking what we're currently seeing, and we'll have to go from that point. So with that being said, I don't want to make this video too long because the market really hasn't moved. We're waiting for a break, and when it breaks, we will get some action. And so at this point, again, you aren't getting any buyers interested. If you are, I'd definitely be careful on that side. Again, the market can go either way, but I am in the short term right now. I am bearish until proven otherwise, especially if we break this level. The floor is really going to go out, and we'll see where we land from there. So if you made it this far, I do appreciate you. Go ahead and like the video. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.